Hi, welcome back channel, TrainStation2. Alright, got first in the third competitions and I claimed both legendaries. Alright, now enjoy some of the trains. Alright, the last two trains are the ones that I've collected so far. Alright, this is the start of third competitions. Starting late is a must in every single competitions, and of course having EP hit start like this is also necessary in order to propel itself up in the ranking chart. Alright, so now very quickly later on, just check out what are the things you need to deliver. Wow, there's a lot of, of those t-shirts to do. Of course, as usual, if you could spare a bit of your dollars in the Union dollars I'm talking about, not the real money. All right, so dollars in terms of the Union dollars that you get from the spring season right now, spend it in an innovation center to upgrade the capacity of your train type. I've chosen, I think, rare for this instance because there's a lot of things to using rare trains. So again, do a lot of this. Items in the recycling factory, have it installed in a warehouse is important, and of course lots of these raw materials that keep it the factory running busy at the same time. So a lot of rare trains need to be delivering these items. If you release tiny rare trains, I think it's a really good opportunity to spend some of your union dollars in the innovation center. There are also options to increase the warehouse space, but I don't think it's really necessary in that context because you'll be draining your items in the event itself. So more importantly, I think it's about capacity. Capacity brings in terms of the speed in clearing those jobs, and of course gaining those EP and climb the ranking chart. Right, very quickly, I'll be sharing in terms of the ranking chart. All right, so propel ourselves to third, 133 EP. Work hard in order to quickly clear up jobs so we can climb to the top spot, which having some difficulty right now because of the warehouse space. But as I said, do not waste your union dollars in increasing the capacity of warehouse, but rather do some housekeeping. Certain items you do not require right now, it can be in the way. Those odd numbers, very small amount you can't use anyway. So this is something you got to do, and of course you got to plan well in terms of collecting. You don't go and collect a 80 capacity delivery back and store your warehouse space. You could collect the 40 and send up the train for delivery, so that actually evens out in terms of the items in the warehouse itself. All right, and of course if you could spare some time to do up building requests, because that brings up population, and with population you will need to upgrade your warehouse using the required population. But again, before that you need blue maps, and blue maps are really hard to get. You should do the greedy captain requests at a few hours a time, if possible. But again, during competition sometimes we're really tight, and I do always visit the event maps to collect some of these small little rewards, the parts there. Alright, very quickly, check again. 146 is the first spot. I'm going to clear that up and climb to the top spot immediately. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, lots of these items need to keep on going in order to fulfill the requirement. And working really tight in terms of the 2 days event competition. You do understand by now, it is always a long competition followed by a short and then a long competition. So with this being a 2-day competition, the next one will be tough. Not only because it's going to be a long competition of 3 days, why I always mention the importance of fighting really hard in the first 3 competition is because on the 4th competition onwards, basically the 4th, 5th and 6th, will be the toughest competition ever, because most of us would have already reached 100% by then, and the quantity being asked for will be really tough. Another thing is that people are feeling of the heat already because they haven't got the 1000 coin, and they're trying to spend real coins, i.e. real money to buy gems, and then to speed up their progress. So that's why at the last 3 competition people realize it's really tough. So I always focus on the first 3 competition win like this. If you have win this first 3 times, we get 1050, and 1000 coins is all we need to claim that legendary. And of course with the good amount of those EP collected, you are also at the same time collecting those wooden keys. We need 4,000 of those wooden keys for the another legendary. So in every single event, I'll always target that 2 legendaries for sure. But of course, some people will say, why do you need so many legendaries for? You will find them really useful in terms of the current level you are in, plus the next level. When you go for competitions, they always ask for the current region and the previous region trains, right? So it's important to do that. And also, to me, it's a collection and a memory for the event itself. And of course, some of you may be using the wooden keys for parts, or for the other trains types like epic, rare, and common, or even getting special building. Yeah, by all means you can get all those as well. But again, like I said, it's a matter of choice. For me, I'm always eyeing the 2 legendaries because they are the prize for the event for me. And of course, then fellow members in the union, I also understand that sometimes they do have difficulty getting enough coins. Perfectly fine. It's always about luck as well. And besides hard work, you really had to focus in starting late, so eventually you do not have really tough competitors to fight with. In every single competition so far I experienced, I only have one very tough competitor, but because, as I mentioned, with the Innovation Center, I'm able to fight even with the gem spender or very tough competitor, because I have saved up lots of those union bucks all for this event. I believe I'm not going to spend any more bucks to get the innovation started for the extra capacity, because I've already attained what I wanted. So I'm going to save up those union dollars, or bucks I call it, and use it for the next competitions. So this is my strategy. Whenever I've won and I got that 1,000 train, 1,000 coin train, I'm not going to use up any more of those precious union dollars anymore. Alright, so this is something you got to think about, not to waste. And I'm not going to use gems anyway, because gems is no longer needed in the competition, which I used to fight really tough for, because with that very strong capacity trains that I have, gem spending is not required anymore, and that allows me to still keep a good number of those gems on hand, which definitely be really handy when it comes to sometimes, you know, last minute just a bit to fight off the second position person to get more of those coins in the competitions. And of course, upgrading of factories will be best used for gems. I always urge people not to spend gems to get a few things, get the missing trains, or get additional dispatcher at the 730 or 630 levels. Right? You should get your free dispatcher or permanent dispatcher at the 50 level. So for me, it'll be 750 using items rather than gems. So it's important to remember that. I mean, gems doesn't come easy. Save them up. You have a good use for them later on. And do remember, end of the day, it's important to upgrade one of the legendaries to 80, and that's about it. Focus of the rest of the money or coins in upgrading the rare and the common train, because they have really tiny capacity that we really needed them to work really hard. Alright, really creating a huge gap now. I'm not worried anymore of not getting first, although I know the second position is trying really hard. At one moment it nearly beat me. I'm not going to give that a chance, because I'm fighting for the 1,000 coin train, so no way. Alright, so probably the 4th, 5th and 6th competition I'm not been fighting so hard. I'm just going to go with the flow itself. Alright, very quickly we'll come to the conclusion of this, and let's see. Alright, so that's the end of this competition, and we have claimed the last 350, and that makes 1050 in total. And of course a new face which I'm going to use. I'm still using Santa Claus after all. Alright, so we're going to change for this. Really fantastic, really happy with this collection. It's a duplicate, you can see, because it is a train that I've gotten previously from Safety Earth events from another region, but they'll be the first in Japan. Right, so the other one is this CNO. It's a duplicate as well in the other region I explained earlier, but really happy. These are the 2 prize items that we got from the event, and of course I'm going to save up the rest of the wooden keys, probably for epic or rare or common or special building, but that got to decide later on. We'll come to spending those for big boxes and coins later. Alright, thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe, and have a good rest and good luck for remaining competitions. Goodbye.